between me and you, I'm not wearing underwear, so. Is it recording? Because you should definitely put that in the interview. My name is Wayne Carl Barker. We could even go into some interesting facts about my name. Should I go into that? So, in actuality, I am Wayne, first name, middle name Carl, last name Barker, the third. But my whole life growing up, because I was the third, like usually if you're the second, they'll be like, oh, Wayne Jr. So at family events, like there was no way for people to refer to me. So everyone just referred to me as Wayne Carl as my first name. My mom also said that was my name, essentially. Like that's what everyone just always called me. I guess no one straight out came out and said that was my name. But that's what I understood my name was for most of my life. I wrote it down on all my things, even on my school records and stuff. Wayne Carl is my first name together. And then once I turned 16 or some age like that, I needed to get a debit card. And that's when I found out that in actuality, Wayne Carl was not my first name. So now I still write my first name as Wayne Carl, but technically it's not my actual name. So there you go.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do for work?
So what I do for work, so most of my time during the day is spent being a software developer for the company that we run out of the Wrestle Dynamic gym, which is where I work at night. So this is Wrestle Dynamic. This is where I coach wrestling. This is our new location. We just moved from our previous location probably a year and a half ago by now. So I've been coaching from right after I came out of high school. Pretty much I started coaching. I had one or two odd jobs, and then I started coaching wrestling, and I've been with Dynamic since.
Nice. And as you're a software developer, I know the website and the software is called Warzone. Why don't you go a little bit into that?
Okay, so Warzone is an amazing thing. My boss, Jason Layton, developed it. So basically the way it works is it gives wrestlers a number that represents their rating, how good they are at wrestling. It also then adjusts it for their weight, which becomes their weight-adjusted rating. That's why it's called Warzone. Other, online video games and chess, they use rating systems. It's much easier for those things, though, because weight isn't a factor. And weight is obviously a huge factor in wrestling. So our algorithm adjusts for weight and makes it so that we're able to just pair wrestlers on the fly. If a wrestler is really experienced and there's no one at the event for him to wrestle, which is a common thing that happens in wrestling, where a really good person might have no one in his weight class, and regular wrestling tournaments run extremely slow, so they'll waste their whole day and not really get anything out of it. We're able to cross the lines of weight and age and skill in a way that other events aren't able to do because they have to prearrange the bracket. And we have the fact that every wrestler actually has a numerical rating.
Now, why is it so important to you, Jason, and everyone at Dynamic to make sure these kids get fair matches and don't just get destroyed or go out there and get an easy win?
So that's a really good question. So in wrestling, for starters, I think wrestling is probably the greatest sport for character development and just developing a really good, for lack of a better word, human being. Just someone that's able to stay on a good path and be a positive member of their community. Wrestling, especially nowadays, we're constantly bombarded by instant forms of gratification, and becoming successful is I guess this is my personal opinion, but in my opinion, becoming successful, the people that become successful in the next 10, 20 years are going to be the people that really got good at stopping themselves from partaking in instant gratification and kind of controlling what forms of pleasure they take in dope, because everyone is just shoving, dopamine spikes at you left and right. And wrestling is really good for that because wrestling is the hardest sport you can do. It's physically grueling. It's very difficult. When you verse someone that's a lot better than you, they completely dominate you. It's incredibly frustrating. There is no way to get good at wrestling without persevering and learning the value of making sacrifice and putting hard work in return to get a result in the future, and that's what life is all about. You know, if you any way you're going to become successful, you're going to have to make sacrifices now to leave you better off later. That's, you know, studying really hard, learning new skills, saving money, anything like that. Even eating right, you know. Everyone wants to eat, you know, whatever is the most delicious thing they can eat in the moment, and then you're fat 10 years later. Or you can eat healthy now and be in good shape later.